Good evening, Fifth of March Hub viewers. I am Fifth of March with breaking news that's rocking the nation. President Donald Trump has just unleashed a tariff tsunami for 2025, hitting Canada, China, and beyond. It's bold, it's controversial, and it's got the world firing back.
The status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China, the 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996. Since the Tiananmen Square massacre, this figure has increased 1,000%, from $3.5 billion then to about $34 billion now. In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%. Whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? On exports, China only allows certain industries into China, of U.S. Industries into China, and therefore only 2% of U.S. exports are allowed into China. On the other hand, the U.S. allows China to flood our markets with a third of their exports, and that'll probably go over 40%, and it's limitless because we have not placed any restriction. In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade. The president in his statement requesting the special waiver said that China trade supports 170,000 jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least. Fact is that U.S.-China trade is a job loser. And one of the reasons that it is because well, first let me just make another point, and that is that our colleagues on the other side of this issue will say that trade with China, exports to China have increased 3 times in the last 10 years. They have. But they fail to mention that imports from China have increased 11 times, and thereby leading to this huge trade deficit.
Trump's tariff could bring in $2.9 trillion over the next decade, but at what cost? The Task Foundation says, brace yourself, a 0.7% hits the US GDP, 605,000 jobs gone, and a 1,900 tax hike per household in 2025. This isn't just a trade policy, it's been called the biggest tax increase since 1982. Let's dig in. Trump's calling it a national economy emergency. On April 2nd, he dropped a 10% tariff on all imports. Some countries now face up to 50%. Canada and Mexico hit with 25%, now 12% for non-USMCA goods. China is at 20%. Steel, aluminum, autos, all slammed with the 25% tariffs. The result is tariffs on imports soaring from 2.5% last year to 16.5% in 2025, the highest since the Great Depression era. But hold on, the world's hitting back hard. China is lapping 34% tariff on $144 billion of US exports, think tractors and oil. Canada is retaliating with 25% tariffs on $86.7 billion of our goods and threatening to cut power lines from Ontario. The EU is dusting off 50% tariff on $8 billion of US exports like bourbon and eyeing another $25 billion. The Task Foundation warns this could shave another 0.1% of our GDP. Now, the fallout. Imports could crash by $800 billion in 2025, a 25% drop. Your check down 1.9% after taxes. Trump's team says this fights fentanyl and protects jobs. Critics call it economic chaos, higher prices, lost businesses, and a massive tax burden. That $1,900 per household is real, and it's coming next year. Here is the timeline. January 20th, Trump signs the order. February, fentanyl tariff targets Canada, Mexico, and China. March, steel and aluminum gets hit. April 2nd, universal tariffs land, retaliation explodes. Today, April 9th, country-specific rates are live. This trade war just getting started. So 5th of March, Hub Nation, what's your verdict? Is Trump saving America or sinking it? Sound off in the comments. I'm reading every word. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more hard-hitting news. I am 5th of March, and this is 5th of March Hub. We'll be right back after this.
Against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on. So they've gone for years. They've become a rich country because of people, again, that were in the White House that allowed this to happen. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year they'd make on us on trade, and it shouldn't be that way. And